Jefferson's Bible, the man who cut Christianity down to Jesus. There's a document most people have never read, and fewer still understand. Thomas Jefferson, one of the founders of the American Republic, took a pair of scissors to the Gospels. Literally, he cut out the passages he believed contained the actual words and teachings of Yeshua, and he pasted them into a blank book. What remained, he discarded. Miracles, resurrection accounts, theological commentary layered on by later hands. Gone. What he kept was what he called the philosophy of Jesus. Now, before you dismiss this as the work of a skeptic or an infidel, which is exactly what his opponents called him, listen to what Jefferson actually said about himself. He said, "I am a Christian in the only sense in which he wished anyone to be, sincerely attached to his doctrines in preference to all others." He wasn't rejecting Jesus. He was trying to get back to him. Here is the problem Jefferson identified, and it's worth sitting with, because it's not a small one. Yeshua wrote nothing himself. Everything we have came through other hands, written from memory, years after the fact, by men working without the resources of the educated class. And then, Jefferson argued, those fragmentary accounts were further shaped by people with institutional interests in controlling the message. His specific accusation? That what most people call Christianity had been built not on the teachings of Yeshua, but on the philosophical framework of Plato. Greek mysticism grafted onto a Hebrew teacher's words until, as Jefferson put it, the original reformer himself would no longer recognize a single feature of the system built in his name. What Jefferson admired in Yeshua was precise and concrete. He saw a teacher who pushed ethics inward, past outward behavior, into the interior of human motive and thought. He saw a universal vision of human belonging that went beyond tribe, nation, and religious boundary. He saw someone who gathered all of humanity into what Jefferson called one family, under the bonds of love, common need, and common care. And he saw all of that buried under centuries of institutional interpretation. So he did what a man of the Enlightenment would do. He went back to the source material. He separated what he believed were the authentic words of Yeshua from the theological framework constructed around them. And he did this privately, not as a public statement, but as a personal spiritual act. He told almost no one. He kept it in his family. He said the evidence of his religion would be found not in any creed or confession, but in how he actually lived. That instinct to go behind the institution, behind the official interpretation, back to the words themselves, is not unique to Jefferson. It's an impulse that shows up in every generation that takes the text seriously enough to ask, what did he actually say? The document we're looking at today is the introduction to what has come to be called the Jefferson Bible. It's a letter, a syllabus, and a personal confession from a man who loved the teacher and distrusted the religion built around him. Whether you agree with his conclusions or not, the question he was asking is still alive. What did Yeshua actually teach? And how much of what we call Christianity came from him, and how much came from somewhere else entirely?